So you're about to retire, you've got $1 million in IRAs and 401ks, and you're worried about how much taxes you might pay when you start drawing all of the money out of those accounts. What if I told you that I can show you how to convert $1 million from an IRA or a 401k and convert it to a Roth IRA and pay little to no taxes at all? My name is Matthew Copley, President and CEO of Copley Financial Group, and I want to help you maximize your income and minimize your taxes. Now, why is a Roth IRA so much better? Why are so many people converting their IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, TSBs to a Roth IRA? Well, the best analogy that I've come up with is what I call my rental house analogy. And I want you to think of yourself as someone who owns a rental property. Let's say you own the rental property on a house next door to the house you live in. And let's say that property is worth $1 million. And let's say that you have a $400,000 mortgage on that property that you owe the bank. Now, if you were to sell that $1 million property right now, would you get $1 million? No, you'd get $600,000. Now, assuming no capital gains or realtor fees, you would get $600,000, not $1 million. Now, what about a 401k or an IRA or a TSP or a 403b? If you have $1 million in your IRA and you cash it all in right now, are you going to get $1 million? No, you're going to get about $600,000. Why is that? Because you have a mortgage on that investment as well. That mortgage is to the IRS. You have to pay taxes, federal, state. You got to pay taxes when you cash that thing in, and you're only going to get about $600,000. Now, going back to the rental house, what if you don't sell your rental house? What if you keep it 10 years? What if the value over the next 10 years doubles? That's been about the average increase in real estate values over many, many decades. Let's say that you wait for 10 years and the value goes from $1 million to $2 million, and then you sell it. If you sell that house at $2 million, are you going to owe $800,000 to the bank? No, of course not. What kind of idiot would take out a mortgage that the value doubles on the mortgage while the value of the house doubles? What kind of mortgage is that? That's a ridiculous mortgage. Who would ever take out a mortgage like that? If your $1 million 401k or IRA or TSP, if that doubles in value from $1 million to $2 million and you cash it in, how much does your IRS mortgage? Oh, it grows to $800,000? That's right, it doubles. That's a horrible mortgage. I want you to pay it off. See, what a Roth IRA is an investment that has no mortgage. When you have your money in a 401k, IRA, 403b, and you cash it in, you have a massive mortgage to the IRS. And as that investment grows, the mortgage gets bigger. Once you convert it from an IRA to a Roth IRA, you have eliminated the mortgage. And every time that account goes up in value, you get to keep all of the gains tax-free. One of the biggest challenges on the Roth IRA is people understanding exactly what the value of that tax-free growth is. One of the biggest challenges that people have is, as a financial advisor, I have to be conservative on my estimates as far as how much returns that you are going to get on your investments. I may think that your returns are going to be 8, 9, or 10%, but when I illustrate those returns, I have to use 6% because I have to be conservative according to all the government rules and regulations when it comes to being a financial advisor. Now, if I use a 6% return, it doesn't illustrate quite as well as far as the actual returns that might be there. See, if you get a 7, 8, 9, or 10% return, the value of that Roth IRA is much, much higher. So if we end up going into an investment that has returns that are much higher than the 6% illustration, the Roth IRA is much, much more valuable than most people think it is. Not only that, there is no required minimum distribution on a Roth IRA. When you turn 73, on a regular IRA or 401k or 403b or TSP, when you turn 73, you have to start taking money out of that account and paying taxes. With a Roth IRA, there is no required minimum distribution. You can continue to grow that account tax-free, compounding tax-free for the rest of your life. And not only that, it can be extended for an additional 10 years. See, when you pass away and you leave someone an IRA or a 401k, they got to pay a ton of taxes. They got to pay taxes when they cash that money in, and they have to do it within 10 years. With a Roth IRA, you can actually continue to grow that account tax-free for up to 10 years. That is a huge benefit of having a Roth IRA versus a regular IRA. Now you know how powerful it is to have a Roth IRA versus a regular IRA. Now I'm going to show you how to convert money from an IRA to a Roth IRA in 3 easy steps and pay little to no taxes. Step 1, we have to take your IRA money and invest in an investment that has a J curve. What a J curve is an investment that actually drops in value for the first couple years before the investment takes off and goes up. This is accomplished using things like real estate development, apartment buildings, storage units, assisted living facilities. It can also be used in oil and gas drilling. What happens is you invest in the investment and a lot of the costs of the investment are front loaded. For example, if we use an apartment building, if we end up putting $1 million into an apartment building and the costs are front loaded, things like permits, things like planning, things like blueprints, all of this stuff is handled up front. Typically what happens is after you invest your IRA money in this apartment building development, you're going to see once construction starts and the property is just at the base, there's concrete and rebar and a fence around the outside of the property, the value of that property has dropped as much as 40%. In fact, the $1 million, if we get that property appraised at that time, is only going to be worth $600,000. So if we put $1 million in IRA money into this investment, that J curve is going to cause our investment to drop in the first year to $600,000. That's when we exercise the Roth IRA conversion. So what happens is in the future when this apartment building is finished construction and all the tenants have moved in and it's all stabilized and leased up, we typically see a 50% return on the investment. So we put in $1 million, it drops to $600,000, which is what we would have to pay tax on when we convert it, and then it goes to $1.5 million, all Roth IRA. Now I'm going to share with you step 2, how you can even eliminate the tax on the $600,000. Now step 2, what we're going to do is we're going to split this $600,000 Roth conversion over 2 calendar years because the construction of this building is going to take 2 or 3 years. So while that value is being held at $600,000, we're going to take advantage of half of the account we're going to convert this year, and then half of the account we're going to convert next year. This will split the $600,000 over 2 tax years. So now we have to deal with a $300,000 conversion this year and a $300,000 conversion next year. Step 3, the tax offset. How do we offset that $300,000? Well, this is no different than if you come to me and I'm a financial advisor and you say, I have a big windfall this year. I won a big lottery winning or a gambling winning, or I sold a business, or I'm a baseball player and I got a big bonus this year. What we do then is invest the money in things that create a large tax offset in the same year that we have this windfall. The same is true for a Roth IRA conversion. If we have $300,000 in Roth conversion we have to deal with, we have to use tax offsets to offset that additional income on our tax return. How might we do that? Well, there's something in the tax code called intangible drilling costs. It's been in the tax code since 1913. This is something that if you invest in oil and gas investments, you can oftentimes deduct up to 80 or even 90% of your investment in the first year. These are great investments that produce great returns in the oil and gas industry, but they have a big tax offset in the first year. Another way we might use a tax offset is something called accelerated depreciation. This is on real estate investments. You invest in a real estate investment and they use something called cost segregation, where they segregate out the cost basis on different things that we can use a depreciation schedule accelerated in the first year. This creates a large tax offset. Again, massive tax offset in the first year. Now, we also like to use charitable donations. These are investments that you go into that create large tax deductions using charitable donations. So what we want to do is take a look at what tax offset strategies are available and how we can do those in the same year that we are doing your Roth conversion. Now, what would it take to offset $300,000? Well, conservatively, you would need about $220,000 to offset $300,000, which means we would have to have an additional $220,000 per year in order to offset that entire $1 million IRA, which means you'd have to have $440,000, $220,000 each year that you can invest in tax offset investments. Now, these are good investments. If you invest $440,000 in these tax offset investments, there's a high likelihood that you're going to get more than $3,000 a month in income off of those investments. So they're good investments that you would want to put your money into. $440,000 in, $3,000 a month in investments. So if you have $1 million in an IRA and $440,000 in cash, you can convert the entire $1 million to a Roth IRA and pay no taxes. Yes, you heard that right. No taxes. Because we are creating a $300,000 tax offset each year that we have a $300,000 reportable conversion. The net result of this is your $1 million IRA gets converted to a Roth IRA and becomes worth $1.5 million in the future, 4 or 5 years from now, all tax free. Meanwhile, you have your real estate or oil and gas investments that you used for tax offsets producing nice $3,000 a month income. If we take that $1.5 million in Roth IRA and then invest it, we can easily create another $7,000 a month in income or more. That's a total of $10,000 a month in income, and the entire distribution from the Roth IRA is 100% tax-free. Even better, when you pass this along, if you do, to your children, they get it all tax-free, and they can continue to grow the account tax-free for up to another 10 years. So yes, you can convert $1 million from an IRA to a Roth IRA in 2 years and pay no taxes. This is Matthew Copley, and if you want to learn how we help our clients maximize their income and minimize their taxes, check out the rest of our videos or visit our website.